for those of you that were here on Tuesday's class, we talked about free lead gen tools using a lot of Google and other programs. So that kind of flows right into what we're talking about today, which is templating your business. So what we talked about before was gaining the leads, how to generate leads for free, how to communicate with people for free, and how to organize for free. If you already have a CRM, that's great. Some of the concepts that we covered before, you could plug into your CRM, and it's going to be the same today as far as templating your business. So I'm going to use all the tools that we talked about in our last class, but a lot of the concepts, again, you can use in whatever CRM you're using, whatever program, even if it's another free program that you like to use. It's all about just looking and seeing what other people are doing that works, and then strategizing that to the programs that you already have or like to use, because we don't want you to kind of throw in the can of any work that you've already done or any money you've already spent. We just want to enhance that. And if you're starting from ground zero, then here's some free ways to start from ground zero. Okay, so templating your business, it's all about not recreating the wheel consistently. I know a lot of us, especially in the beginning stages, it's so painful. Every time you take every step in business, whether it's your marketing or your communications, or when you're under contract, it's every step of the way we're going, oh, what did I do for that first deal? Maybe I'll go back through my files. What did I say to this person? How did I hook, line, and sinker with the last deal? You know, what did I say that made them comfortable? Why did these buyers choose me? Well, if you have a template on how to do everything in your business, you don't have to recreate the wheel every time and spend hours trying to come up with materials or ways to say the right thing. And with your templates, what's great about it is they're constantly can be updated or changing. So as the times change, your templates change, but day to day in the business, you don't have to recreate it every single time. So to start off with, let's talk about communications that can be planned. Different concepts. Every person's business is different because we all work with different people. Some of us work with investors. Some of us love to call expireds. Me personally, no, never. But we all have different businesses. So you want to take these concepts and apply it to what you're doing in your personal business. So some ideas for marketing, things that could be pre-templated. Your communications and going after FSBOs. Most of our FSBOs have the same train of thought. They want to cut us out because they think they're saving money. They don't understand what a realtor is doing for them. And if you have templated letters for consistent follow-up with these people, it's going to be the same across the way. First, talking to them about why they might need a realtor, what's going to protect them, talking about maybe how they're going to make more money in the end using a realtor. These different things are going to be consistent across the way. So same with expireds or a new farm area. If you are going after a for sale by owner and every time you go to write them a follow-up letter and you have to recreate that letter or think about what you want to say to them next, you're going to waste a lot of time. But if you have 20 letters that are meant to go out once a week to a new FSBO on your street, then your business will be done a lot easier and you won't be rolling your eyes dreading to sit down at your computer to communicate with people. Same goes for expireds. If you have several letters that are set up or your phone call conversations already templated and you know what you're going to say, you can save time and be more confident. So other follow-up would be if you have leads that do come in. We talked about leads in our last class, how to generate them, how to log them. But then from there, what do? Yeah, they're organized. Yeah, you've got them. But what's your plan of action? So you need to have a pre-templated set of maybe text messages, emails, letters, a combination of all of these, phone calls. If you have these things pre-templated for a lead that did answer, it's going to be a different conversation than from a lead that didn't answer. So trying to make that relationship concrete if they did answer, talking about what you're going to do for them, how you're going to help them so that they don't just move on to the next person that they click onto on realtor.com or on Facebook. Those are important. But for a lead that didn't answer, it's going to be about reaching out to tell them why you can help them and what you're here to do so that they will become that lead that did answer, right? So different other follow-ups that you can look into are leads that are 6 months out from buying, leads that are several years out from buying. Your communications with each of these people are different, but they come into our career consistently. So if you have these templates already set up, again, you're not sitting down thinking, oh crap, you know, I had that lead, they said they were several years out, I never followed up with them. If you have letters templated and you have it plugged into your calendar, you don't have to worry about, did I follow up with them this month or not? And then you lose that potential time and effort that you put into gaining that lead in the first place. Other things to template, which this is my favorite part because we all get so busy that we worry about messing up or missing something and we lose sleep over it consistently. Steps of process in the transaction. So maybe you have a templated email or communication that goes out when you start looking at homes. I'm going to show you a great example that our own Angie Nichols has come up with. Maybe you should have an email that is for every time you go under contract, and one's for a buyer, one's for a seller, that says, congratulations, you're under contract. Here's what to expect. And a nice fully formatted email letting them know what to expect so that you're not having to remember what to tell your buyers, so that whenever the escrow never got turned in, you can say, oh crap, I totally forgot to let you know that that was a really important piece of the contract. So if you've got that already laid out, your inspection time, the financing process, clear to close and close, these are all different steps that you can have pre-formatted communications with that are ready to go, so that the moment it's time for that part in the contract or that time on the calendar, you just automatically have it ready to go to send out to your customers. Now, these are all great concepts, but it seems like a lot to put together, right? So you need the right tools for this. So tools for templating. These are just some that I like to use. If you already have a CRM, obviously these are concepts that you can plug into your CRM, or some of your CRMs might already have these concepts. But I really like to use app files. This is good to keep us in check. This is about us doing our job and us doing our tasks on time, right? So your other tools are going to be about communications with your buyer and helping with those relationships. But this is for us to be professionals and not to forget any step along the way. Once we have a relationship, we're looking at homes or we're under contract. We're going to look into app files to get an idea of what this looks like and setting up your tasks for each type of customer or each type of transaction we might have. Mailchimp is a great free tool as well that is for organizing your communication for the beginning steps of the relationship. So if you've already got a relationship with a customer, you're going to move on to like the steps of the transaction, right? But if you're trying to, hey, Robert, if you're trying to format a lead, or whether it's a cold lead, somebody that might be 6 to 12 months out, somebody that's not hot and ready, you want to plug them into Mailchimp. You can template your communications with them and make sure that you're touching up with these people at least once a month, if not bi-monthly, with newsletters. But they also have some different types of drip campaigns. You can use it as a simple concept for just mass mailing your letters once a month, or you can get really integrated and get a little techie with it if you wanted to, as far as making drip campaigns, ones that are based on algorithms, ones that are based on movements, and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's based on what your level of expertise is with this. But the best thing to use also would be anything with Google. So this is for continued communications through the buying and selling process, through the showing process. I'm going to show you how I template all of my emails with the concepts we talked about in the prior slides through Gmail. And again, if you have a CRM, it might already do this for you. I like to take control of the situation, and I like to put a personal touch on a lot of stuff. So I do it through my Gmail. I also find that it doesn't end up in any kind of spam situation when I'm doing this, especially once I've already got that relationship and I'm trying to send them important information on what to expect while they're under contract. I really like to use my personal Gmail for that so that it doesn't end up in a promotions folder somewhere. So those are just some tools we're going to use, and we're also going to talk a little bit. It's under the whole Google package, but Boomerang is a great tool that Google will help to schedule out your stuff, just like a CRM would. But again, all of these tools are free. So the great thing that I've seen lately at a lot of different conventions and a lot of our top-notch realtors are templating their videos. So people now are, or I should say realtors now, are not just having templated text messages or templated letters to send people that say, you're under contract, here's what to expect. We're actually making videos now that we're keeping and storing that give a much more personal touch. Can you imagine, as a customer, you've just gone under contract, you get it back in whatever program you're using, app files, DocuSign, you get it, it's executed, and you're like, oh gosh, now what? And then you get this really complicated, long, lengthy letter when you're already having anxiety. Well, getting a video would feel a lot better. Somebody saying, congratulations, you're under contract, here's what to expect. It gives it not just that personal touch, but they can see the emotion that you're presenting. They can see that you're happy, so they should be happy. You're calm, cool, and collected, and we're ready to move on to that next step. This video not only helps them with the communication, but it helps them with what emotions they're struggling with at the moment. So it gives it that great personal touch. What's great is you can actually keep all of your templated videos for different things in YouTube. And we've had other YouTube classes, so I won't go too into detail with this, but you can upload it to YouTube and set your privacy settings to where they can only see it if they receive a link. That way, if somebody goes out to your YouTube, you're not showing all of your cards of, here's all of my communication for my customers, here's all of my marketing, here's everything, and then it doesn't look so personal. You just set it so that they can only see the video if they receive a link. That way, the moment you're under contract, go out to your YouTube, copy paste that link, and send it on over to the customer. A pro tip, make sure you change your outfits in between videos so that they don't look pre-templated. So this can be a lot of fun, and it doesn't have to be recreating the wheel for these videos either. Your letters, your templates, and any material that you already have in your CRM or that Jones & Co provides you, just turn those into videos. You don't have to recreate scripts or anything. Use those same concepts, just record yourself. I promise you that they've already seen your face, so the video won't matter. Don't be nervous, just get in front of the camera. Okay. So now what I want to do is show you guys really real life examples of these things. So what Jones & Co provides you in app files is a lot of different marketing material. So you might already have some of these letters in your CRM. If you don't, this is great. Sometimes I've had a couple of CRMs where I really just didn't like what they typed out. It did not fit my market and it did not fit me. So another pro tip, if you have a CRM, or even if you want to use our letters here, do go through them and retype them. Add your personality into them and make sure they have the right tense. Make sure they are using the right pronouns. For example, when we send out letters from Jones & Company, if it says I, me, well, that doesn't make sense. We're a company. It needs to say us and we. So same thing. When I've used other programs, they said us and we, and I was a single agent and it was a letter coming from me. So those small things can really make a difference. They'll be able to tell that it's pre-formatted and that you sound like a robot if you don't go through these letters and make it sound like you. But the great thing is you don't have to think it through and come up with the material, come up with the subject. You can simply just go through and edit the pronouns. So I'm going to look at this one as an example. We've got a whole bunch of different drip letters. So this is very simple. This is for a lead that didn't answer. So you can see under the drip schedule that day one, call. Obviously, when a hot lead comes in, you better be on that phone. You better be calling them and showing them that you're there for them. So then we've got the text follow-up for obviously if they didn't answer. And then they also have a follow-up email. So we contact them all 3 ways in that first day, because you never know. Some people just look at their email. Some people don't like to text. Some people only text, and if they're a millennial, we all know I'm not answering the phone. I have to because I'm a realtor. But anything else, I ain't answering that phone. But if you text me, I will text you back. So day 3, we're going to try and call them again. We're going to send up a follow-up email. And day 5, we're going to call and we're going to add them to our monthly mail list that we talked about in Mailchimp. So this one is very short because this is for a lead that just didn't answer. So we've followed up with them for 5 days, and then we automatically add them into our monthly mail list. Okay. So if they do answer though, we've got lots of different options here. So we've got the relationship builder for the leads that do answer. We've got marketing out here for expired listings if we're going after a new farm area, if we're going after FSBOs. You've got lots of different stuff that we've provided out here for you. If there is something in here that doesn't quite fit your niche, a lot of this that I've put together for you guys and that Jones and Company's pulled together was through research on the internet. You can find a lot of different topics, a lot of different videos, a lot of different schedules just by researching what the consumer wants. So step-by-step stuff. We can see by going out here and looking at FSBOs, there are 25 letters, and it's just a letter for once a week for a long time because sometimes it takes a while to get to those FSBOs. But letter 1 is just letting them know who you are, that you want to chat. And it goes all the way through letting them know that you understand that they want to try and sell it themselves. Next letter is, hey, maybe just let me sit in open house. Letter after that is, hey, if you're having a hard time, I'd love to give you some advice. It follows the emotions of what that consumer is going through. So you need to keep that in mind whenever you're making your templates, because your templates could be very different for your business depending on who you're working with. What emotions are your customers going through each step of the way in a transaction? If you're working on building a template, it could start out very small, maybe just a couple letters for when they're under contract, when their inspection period is up, when their financing period is up, and closing, right? That's 4 letters that you can create to keep communication up with your customer that you don't have to recreate all the time. But as you start going through your transactions, you start to realize, oh, you know what? On day 10, there's like a lot of space without communication and they really lose faith in me as a realtor. So maybe I need to add in another letter. And that's great. You've already got your template. You add in another letter, and this is where it's constantly revolving for where you can add things in. Is anybody using any type of system right now for constant communication for their Crystal? You are? Is it for while you're under contract? Is it your marketing? Like, what do you think works best?
I have a balance of some things, but what I have found works really, really well for me is I do a weekly update every single Tuesday, no matter what. So every Tuesday I nip in the butt those random questions that come out throughout the week. They know that they can update me. So Mondays I'm checking in with the lender, I'm checking in with title and whatever that may look like. So sellers get it every Tuesday once they're listed, but once you have a contract with me, you get an update every Tuesday, and they're all templated. We keep all of ours in Google Drive.
Awesome.
Because it's a live, accurate document, and so we're all working off of the same one. And yeah, every single Tuesday, everyone gets an update.
Awesome. We had the trainer from RD Systems that came in last week, and that was one of the things he had talked about was creating like a promise letter between you and your seller or you and your buyer. They were both formatted differently. A communication promise actually set realtors apart from any other realtor, because most realtors don't communicate regularly, and they were promising, look, I'm going to talk to you every day on this week. And not only does it keep you in check as a realtor, but it keeps your customers in check, because otherwise they're like, oh, I haven't heard from them for weeks. And it's like, well, no, you did hear from me last week. If they know every Tuesday, hey, I'm going to hear from Crystal, then that keeps them calm as well.
It does.
I love it. I love it. So from here, the other way to use app files, besides your communications or your marketing, is using the templates within app files. We do have a class on this that is on YouTube, and we can hold another class if need be. But you are allowed to come out here and create what we call template buyer or template seller. We have a couple of agents that really love to do this. So they have one that's just for vacant land. They have one that's for new construction. They have one that's for resale. And what you can do is just call it a template file. We won't touch it. And you can add in here the forms that you're always going to use for those types of transactions, but you can also add in here all the tasks that you need for this transaction. Janet has made these lovely app file paperwork checklists. So if you're new to the game, or you just kind of like don't have anything organized and need a way to start, this app files checklist is the best place to start. She's done a printout, like a write out of everything that you need for each type of transaction, whether it's an active listing, a pending sale, or when it's closed. But then there's also this flow chart that helps you with the series of events throughout the process. Okay, you've listed it. Okay, you've got a pending listing now. Okay, maybe you didn't do any of that, you just have the buyer. So we're going to jump over to pending sale, right? So these different bullet points you can use to create a task list for yourself based on what you need in your transaction. So you can see here, we've already started the list. Make sure you have your escrow deposit receipt. Make sure you have your financing contingency. But then we have some agents that literally have like 20, 25 tasks for every step of the transaction for themselves. So maybe one time they accidentally forgot to send the contract to the mortgage company and the title company in the beginning. Well, that becomes a task, and it's going to go right up there at the top. Okay, make sure day one we send the contract out to this person and this person. Maybe you had an issue all of a sudden one time where for the mortgage company did not get followed up with, and they did not do their job, and they didn't order the appraisal on time. Well, that becomes a task line. Make sure you follow up with mortgage. Escrow is ordered. Appraisal is ordered, question mark. So all of these different tasks you can create. If you have a template like this with all of your steps in there, you can see they're unassigned and they don't have dates right now. All you have to do is copy this app file over here on the side. So you can keep this template forever. And let's say you get a new buyer, right? You're going to copy this app file and over here, copy this app file, and then you're going to label that new app file 123 Main Street, whatever the address is. It automatically copies over all the tasks, all the paperwork you're going to need, and any notes you keep for yourself. So then all you have to do is come in here and plug in the dates for your transaction. When does the financing contingency end? When is the escrow due? What dates do I need to do what? But that way nothing gets forgotten again. You think to yourself, oh, I can't believe I forgot to send the contract over to the mortgage company. Well, your next deal that might happen again, you're going to kick yourself in the butt because you just have so many deals going on, or there's so much going on at the beginning of the transaction, towards the end of the transaction. This helps you template yourself. So this is about the transaction, not so much the communications. But if you wanted to, you could add your communications in here. You could add in here, make sure to send buyer the under contract letter. Make sure to send buyer the inspection letter. Those can get added into here. It depends on how you like to use your systems. You can use your CRM for that. You can use your Google Calendar for that, or you could use app files for that. But plugging everything in helps. Each morning you can come out, look at your tasks for each deal, because hopefully here, if you're new, you're going to start having a whole bunch of deals going on at multiple times, maybe 5 under contract or more at a time. Or if you're already a seasoned agent, you know what I'm talking about. You have deals going like 10 different ways. You have no idea what to do, and you're just trying to figure out the status of each. Well, you don't have to go around doing a whole bunch of research to figure out the status of each, because each morning you can come in here, you can check each file, see where you're at, and see what needs to be done. That just helps you keep yourself on track. Any questions on how these templates work? You're just going to create a new app file, call it template, and then you can use this copy this app file button. And that's the basic knowledge on that one. So in app files so far, we've covered all of the different templated communications that we have, and then ways that you can template yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move over to Google's products for a moment. So here in Google, what you can do is you can template your email communications. I talked before about how I like to use Google personally, so that it has a better rate of going through into their inbox, right? So let's say App Files tells me, well, today you need to send out that inspection letter. Here in Google, you can compose an email and type out whatever it is that you need to do. So maybe to take time and type out a couple of emails, one for under contract, one for inspection period, the different things we talked about, right? So we're in inspection period and I've got an email that I type out. Okay, so once I'm done typing it out, I can simply come down here and move your faces really quick. I can come down here and go to templates. I've clicked these 3 buttons. I've gone to templates. All of your templates will show up here, but if you're starting out new, I'm using this inbox to show you what it'll look like from the beginning. You can save this draft as a template, save as new template, and label it. So we send out this whole beautiful letter that tells the buyer or the seller what to expect during inspection period, what they need to look for when their inspection period ends. And we can just simply come out here, choose that template, and send it out right away without having to retype it or redo it or anything like that. So each morning, what I like to do is I sit down, I look through my app files, see where I'm at, see what I need to do, and then I come over here. I have Gmail open in a tab so I can send out those email communications that I need to send out. And then I check it off in app files, and I have a clear conscience that I've done everything I needed to do and I'm not forgetting anything, because I'm one of those people that will stay up all night and lose sleep thinking, oh my God, did I do this? Did I do that? And we all do. We're realtors. We have 100 things going. We're juggling. And this is going to help you feel more confident and sleep a little bit better, knowing that you've done everything you need to do. Now, the way that I like to work the system separately for marketing or things that aren't under contract yet, I keep all of those communications in on my Google Calendar. So reminders and things like that I set up in my Google Calendar. So I also go to my Google Calendar every morning and check and see who needs follow-up phone calls or who needs special touches. But what's great is within all of these free options in Google, we've gone over your email templates and how you can save templates. But also there is a system called Boomerang. If you just Google the word Boomerang and log in with your Gmail, they'll help you set it up and walk through. But what this does is add on an additional, let me go over to my other email because I don't have it in this guy. Okay, so in here, what Boomerang does when added on is gives you, it's not gonna open for me right now. So along the bottom of your Gmail, what this is gonna do is gives you an additional button that says send later. So with the send later option, you can get a new customer, a new lead, or a lead that hasn't answered. And the moment you get it, let's say you do the call, the text message, the email. Well, you don't have to put it in your calendar to come back out and do the email. You can just schedule it later. That way you can set up all of your email communications for your marketing ahead of time for each specific customer. After a while, if they don't answer, their relationship doesn't go anywhere, I'm just putting them in Mailchimp. They're getting my monthly or bi-monthly newsletters or any hot news that might hit. I'll send out more than one email, mass email a month, depends on what you're doing and how you're structuring your business, right? But for each customer, you can come out here and freely send out your emails later so that you don't even have to think about it. But the things that I do put in my Google Calendar are when I need to call people or when I need to text people, okay? What are you guys doing right now as far as schedulers for communication? Are you guys using like a CRM, or are you just kind of basing it off of when you last heard from your customer? All answers are okay.
I'm actually using the Google Calendar.
Are you? Okay, awesome.
But did you know that Google, the regular email, the little arrow next to send, it'll actually give you, you can schedule the email through there?
Yes, yes. So that's very true. So you can, here's where Robert's talking about. You can schedule a send later. So the reason that I use Boomerang is it allows me to do that, but then it lets me know if they haven't answered. It gives me algorithms and reports on it. And it also shows, like, based on what you type in there, it'll show you how accurate it or how likely it is that they are going to open it and respond. It does like all kinds of reporting for it too, which is free, but it can get a little complicated. So you're totally right. This send button right here for schedule later could be a lot easier. Awesome. Okay. So our other step here is using Google Drive, which Crystal had talked about she uses frequently as well, because these are live moving documents. She's got a large team with her up north, and she's building her team here. So it's important to have things that are shareable and live for her. I worked on a team, which is why I also used Drive. But if you keep all of your communications out here in Google Drive, let's see, I keep all of my stuff in a folder. I called it Top Producer because that's where we started when we had a CRM, and then I made all of my letters my own, and I pulled out of a CRM and used all of my stuff for free. So I keep all of my stuff in Google Drive so that I can access it at any time from anywhere. So if there is a certain email or a letter or a text message, I keep all of my communications in here. So you can save it in Gmail and just send out your emails, but with the for sale by owners, I don't always have their emails, and I don't always have like any kind of contact information. I just have their address, right? So I keep all of the letters in here. So anytime if my calendar says, hey, make sure to mail 123 Main Street, letter 5 in your FSBO campaign, I just come out here to letter 5 and send it out. Or expired, you know, whichever one that you're doing. But I also save all of my text messages that I want to regularly send out in here as well, because Google Drive, they have an app, you can keep it on your phone. So anytime my calendar says, hey, send out the second text message for buyer didn't answer, I just copy and paste it on the app so that I don't have to type out the whole thing every time, and it becomes very versatile. There's a lot of things you can do with Google Drive. We've done lots of classes on Google Drive, but this is just how to best store a lot of your templates. So I store all of my emails in Gmail, and then I store all of my letters, I store all of my schedules and my text messages in Google Drive. But that way anybody can access it if they need to, especially if you're working on a team. So, and we've got all of that stuff in app files, but I took it out of app files and put it in my own system because you can easily edit them. You can constantly update them. They're live documents. It works like Word, but they just auto save, and it just makes life so much easier when everything is in one place. So any questions on how Google works into all of this templating stuff? I think you guys are already pretty much, for the people we have on this call, you guys are really, really using the Google tools a lot, which is awesome. So my last piece here for templating stuff in your business is Mailchimp. Mailchimp is free for up to 2,000 contacts. There are other programs out there like Constant Contact. I used Constant Contact for years when I was in the real estate marketing industry before I got my license. They are pricey, but they do have a lot more options. So they've got a very small free version, and then a lot more options if you pay. Mailchimp, a lot of free version stuff, a lot of free options, and they've got some paid options. They're both a little different. I would say that Constant Contact is more corporate and Mailchimp is more independent, user friendly. So there are a lot of things that Mailchimp's brought on just in this past year since we've last done a Mailchimp class. But what's important is out here, you can create different campaigns and email templates. So this is where you could create a template for yourself that is your newsletter. If you send out a newsletter every single month that looks completely different, you're going to confuse the consumer. You want to create brand awareness and consistency in your message across everything. So creating a template that has that same structure, but maybe it just updates your header, or your colors go with the seasons, whatever you're trying to get at. You have that same structure, the customer will start to familiarize themselves with what they're looking at and familiarize themselves with, oh, the information I get on real estate always comes from Crystal or always comes from Robert. So out here creating your templates, you can also create drip campaigns so that if you get a new contact, you can plug them in here, and right off the bat, day 1, it'll send them a welcome email. Day 3, it'll send them like a relationship builder. Day 6, it'll send them a reminder, you know, maybe however many days you want to set it up for. So the first 10 days, they'll get all of this drip campaign information. And then after that, it just automatically adds them to your newsletter. What's also great about this is the contacts and the audiences. So your contacts can go into different buckets. This one is for our marketing. So we've got local realtors, the Jones & Co. realtors, affiliates, and customers. So yours, though, could be your bucket of sellers, your bucket of buyers, your cold leads, people who never answered or who have like fell off the earth for the past 2 years, they're going to suddenly buy a house one day, whether they've decided to rent for a year because they've given up. Well, in a year, they're going to buy a house, right? Or even a bucket for your past customers, because eventually they're going to sell their home again. And nobody likes seeing a house that they help somebody buy sold by another realtor. So you can create different buckets and send them each different types of materials. So if you had a past customer bucket, the moment you close on something, you could add them into past customer bucket. And for 10 days, they could be getting emails that are, thank you for using me as a realtor. Don't forget to send me a review. Maybe day 7 is, just checking in. You stay top of mind for 10 days so they don't think that you totally just got your commission check and booked it and went to Aruba. You remembered them, you care about them, but then from there, maybe they get a bi-monthly letter from you talking about different things that will help them with their home, DIY projects, different things to help them, during, I would say during the winter, but we live in Florida. It's not a real winter. Different things during different seasons of their home. Our past customers should be getting information during hurricane season on how to best do that. Take care and prep for a hurricane. You can also send a regular email that talks about homestead when those deadlines are coming up. These are all different subjects, and they're things as your business goes on, you're going to realize, I need to remind my customers to do homestead. Well, that just becomes part of your template, and that becomes part of your calendar and things that you plug in. So there are many different tools that you can use for this. We've gone through all the things we provide you in app files, all the things that are provided by Google, and everything that you can find and use in Mailchimp or Constant Contact. But also your CRM may do all these things for you. You just need to put those different concepts into play. I know there's been many times that I've signed up for a CRM, whether it was very expensive or very affordable. If you don't use it properly and you don't work with it, you're not going to get any money out of it. So whether you're using our free tools or your paid tools, you just need to sit down, put together a system for yourself, personalize it, and put it into play, because it will save you time, it will save you money, it will save you headaches. The thing to remember is, with these templates, they are consistently moving, you're consistently updating, and the business is consistently changing. So it's okay to constantly change your templates, but it's not you writing in the same email 5 times a month. Does anybody have anything else, like any ways that they've templated their business that work better? I know, Crystal, you've got your regular touches every Tuesday, and that helps keep you in check and keep your customers in check. What else are you guys doing that helps structure your business?
My business is super structured, actually. I really run a tight ship. So everyone on my team meets every day at 9:15. We talk about every single customer and how we can help each customer. So that's the first way. Then every day of the week, we kind of do certain things, but the 2 big ones are Tuesdays and Thursdays. And every single Tuesday, every client gets an update. Every Thursday, the opposite person on the transaction gets an update. So if we're representing the buyer, then the seller side is going to get their update. If we represent the seller, then the buyer side is going to get an update from us. Even if it's just checking in and we're just communicating with each other, it's always nice when the other agent is being proactive about communication. Then we're going weeks on end going, did anyone do this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you have a great program that doesn't just help your communication and template your communication, but it keeps you in check as well as the realtors on the other end, because we always know we can't expect other people to do their job.
This is true.
You don't want to get to the end of the transaction and think, well, that was so-and-so's job and I just assumed they were doing it. You can't, because then you're going to, again, we just come full circle back to, you're going to lose sleep.
Truth.
Awesome. Belkis, how are you?
Oh, how are you?
What are you doing right now that you personally like that helps you keep your business structured?
I am still in the process to organize my constant campaigns. Like right now I'm doing market newsletter, a newsletter every month. That's the only thing I am keeping straightforward, like is going through every month, doesn't matter what. But everything else, yes, I do have some template to request my reviews and things like that. But I am just in the middle, nothing like a full system already in place for every task. No, I am a struggle with that, because every time I found another one, then I say, this one is better, then I continue improving. But I need to continue doing my settings for have the auto response in different scenarios.
Yep.
To simplify my task, so to make it more automatic.
What's great about templates is they're never finished. You're always going to be in the middle, and you're always going to be making them better.
Yes.
I think my suggestion is, as far as your responses, right now while you're working with deals or anytime you're working with a customer, if you send a new response, save that. Don't think, oh, I've got to type this up later. Whatever response, like let's say a customer has an issue where it didn't appraise properly. If that issue comes up and you type out an email of how to handle it, save that email because you can use it the next time. And then you'll add just more and more to your database.
That's a great advice. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I have to say, Belkis's app files are some of the top app files as far as we went over earlier, how to create templates. I think she's got like 30 different tasks in there for every step of the way of what to do in a transaction. So she's not going to miss anything ever. And Robert, I know you said that you were using Google a lot in your Google Calendar. What is it that you focus on right now? Is it more so your communications? Is it your tasks? What are you doing that works for you? Oh, wait, let me unmute you.
There we go. I'm unmuted.
There you go.
So right now,
I think you froze.
Oh, and he froze.
oh no.
Robert, come back.
Tall, dark, handsome, and silent, the best kind of men.
Yeah. Oh, he's back. There he goes.
I'm back. Okay, great. So what I do when I get a buyer or seller, when we establish their timeline, is I go ahead and set them up and share with them a Google Calendar so that they also have access to the different dates and when everything's due. So there's no surprises.
Yeah, so sharing your calendar keeps everybody in check. And those are also live. So if you give them the option to, they can edit stuff. If you need to like add different notes and things to it, then everybody can communicate just through Google Calendars. It's one of my saving graces. I love it. Miriam, I know we can't see you, but it does look like your microphone is on. What are you doing right now that you like to template your business for?
Well, I'm using the Follow-Up Boss app with Miranda, and it works really well for us because it has tasks, and so every day I just kind of have a bunch of tasks that comes up, and it was already done. I know it's an expensive service, but I didn't have to do any of those templates.
Mm-hmm.
They're already there.
Yeah, no, and that's what's exciting is if you buy into a good program, they have a lot of those templates. All you have to do is make it personal.
Yes.
And I know with the Follow-Up Boss, you guys have a lot of AI and algorithm-based responses.
Yes.
And it's not already pre-done and it's not as nice as Follow-Up Boss, but if you're looking for something like that and you don't have the budget for Follow-Up Boss yet, that is the new stuff that Mailchimp is integrating. They're integrating AI and algorithm-based follow-up, but you do have to set it up yourself and create those flows and the different directions that it's going to take a customer. So the option is there for cheap, but Follow-Up Boss is one of those top CRMs.
The biggest thing that I find is consistency. If I spend, like I struggle with that when I get really busy, but to try to spend at least 2 hours a day or a certain amount of time, oops, can you still hear me? I thought I heard you. Okay. To just spend that time every day consistently to do the follow-up, because otherwise some people get lost in the pipeline and it's frustrating.
Yeah,
so that's probably the biggest struggle, but.
Yeah, and it's very easy to lose somebody. Like I said, we're juggling things all at once. And if you have 5 deals going, you're all of your attention is going to go to those 5 deals. You're not going to care about your cold leads or people who you haven't talked to in months, because you got to get these deals closed. You've got time of the essence and all of these things. That is what creates the roller coaster effect, as far as like having a bunch of deals and having nothing, having a bunch of deals and having nothing.
Yeah.
And you can easily get rid of that roller coaster effect if you have all of these templates in place. You have things set up that are automated, that will send out, and it keeps communicating with those cold leads and those people who aren't buying for 6 months to several years while you're closing those 5 deals. So they're ready and rocking to go. As soon as you're done closing those 5 deals, you're out showing homes again. So awesome.
Some dialogue if people do call in, or all of a sudden you call your customer like, oh crap, now what do I say? Just pull up a template and read the template as dialogue. That'll help you, because we all seem to have those brain farts when they call, right?
Absolutely. I know a couple agents that for each different topic of different things going on in the transaction, instead of, they have the long letter versions or the email versions, but to that point, they also keep a list of bullet points of reminders for different things, like things that happen during inspection, things that happen during finance. So when somebody calls in, they're going and they're looking through all of those bullet points so they remember what to talk about, or they put it in an order of events so that they can talk it through with the customer as well. It's important to not just have these templates, because then you become a robot, but you want to know what's in those templates and know what you're talking about, because it's going out to those customers. If they call you to talk to you about it, you better have that letter up so that you know what they're talking about, so you don't seem like you just copy pasted something. That's a really good point, JJ. Awesome. Well, it seems like you guys have a lot of great systems in place, and that you can integrate maybe some new ideas into it. Is there anything else that you guys are struggling with that you need Jones & Company to provide you, aside from any of the templates we've already given you? No.
You can message us privately or call us.
Yes, absolutely. We love providing stuff for our agents. We've got all the templates and app files. You can find those buyer templates that we looked at earlier. You can copy those app files. Janet's gone ahead and made those for you. So just copy those app files and make them into your own templates. We've got one for buyer, we've got one for seller, so that you can get kick-started. But if there's anything else that you're struggling with or that you see that you need, just reach out to us. That's what we're here for.
If you want to share something that's working for you, that would be great. Because if you give an idea out, 1 person out of 100 is going to actually act on it. So it's always kind of a good thing. And you guys now that you've got your juices rolling, Angie's going to do a workshop next week. We're actually going to try to get people touching each other, or social distancing, touching kind of stuff next week. So we're going to have a snack and learn with Lancel's going to bring in lunch. Kathy Manseipel from Fidelity left them after 15 years to work with Lancel, so she's going to bring us lunch. And it'll be more of a brainstorming kind of a workshop, how to work with your sphere, kind of integrating the stuff we've been building on over the last few classes, and how to get your business refocused for 2021, because 2020 is basically done. So we're really, thank God. So yeah, out the door. So let's focus on 2021 and get everything going on. So thank you very much for a great class today, Joanna. Exciting news. While during the class, Terry Inge just put her house up yesterday for sale. And I want you to go take a look at her listings, because she did the most phenomenal staging of her own personal home. She put it on the market yesterday afternoon, and it is under contract as we're speaking, right where she wanted it, cash, closing almost immediately, and they're buying all their furniture and everything. So it's like a perfect 24-hour sale, and it was over 700,000. So yeah.
What's the address?
That's a really good, something Southwest.
If you look up her name, her last name is INGE. It'll show up.
Southwest 10th, I think. Something.
Yeah, I can pull it up if I look at her, pull her up in the MLS and pull her listings. Yeah, so her last name is INGE.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it's like JJ said, Southwest 10th. I want to say it's 4406, but don't quote me on that.
You're probably, that is.
No, I can look it up just that way.
09 Southwest 10th. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it gives you the perfect example of how to set your home up to get it sold. I mean, it looked like a freaking model, and it hit all the right buttons, and obviously, and she sold it with a buyer did a FaceTime. So the buyer, yeah, the agent went, did a FaceTime, and they negotiated it out, and it's all done in 24 hours. So yahoo!
That's fantastic. I do have a group question. It's a little unrelated, but maybe I would appreciate everybody's insight on it. How do you guys handle real estate signs? Your ground is very sandy. Do they stay in the ground when it gets windy? Do you do push-in signs? Do you do big pole signs? I mean, how does that work for you guys?
We have a sign company that actually owns the posts, and they will put the posts up and take them down for a whopping $25 total. They will even store your posts, and I think there's a small extra charge if you wanted them to put up like info boxes or
They do add-ons.
riders and stuff like that. And it's all done online. It's phenomenal. They know what they have to do to keep the signs in. The only thing you have to do now that we're in hurricane season, because this is a little different for you from Ohio, is if there is a storm, they will take their sign. They usually will try to get out and take the posts down. So your job would be to get all of the airborne kinds of things like this, like the panels, and get that off. And
I know during Irma, we had a good amount of, they didn't have enough warning. So for our agents, we had, not we, but like, you know, we all went out, we tried to make sure everyone was taken care of for anybody who already left, but we just went and took panels down off the actual post. The posts didn't go anywhere. So they've got those babies buckled in. So during Irma, we had no posts go flying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those inexpensive metal ones that you see some of the agents put in, they do not hold up very well at all. They'll fall over real fast. So let the guys do the 2x4s or the whatever they are and stick them in the ground and don't pay for it. But $25 is easy. It's a deduction.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I'm so used to being in control of everything. So I like to be in control of everything. So I don't mind owning a few and even installing them, but I'm just curious, like, you know, do they fall out? Your ground is just so sandy. It's very different.
Yeah, you've got to bring a post hole digger out there and dig it out there. And it's just it's a pistol. That's why it's just not worth it. We found over the years to do that. It becomes a business deduction. And there you go. However you want to do it. I'm like lazy when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't want to store it in my garage because we don't have storage. That's the biggest thing in Florida is we just don't have a lot of storage space. So we let them store it.
Yeah, I bought my house specifically because of how large the garage was. It was very important to me. And everyone's like, really, the garage? I'm like, you don't understand how much stuff we store.
Well, there you go. You can go into the sign business, Chris.
No.
Yeah,
Actually got started in Florida. A real estate agent had a son who was just like, I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life kind of stuff. So he set him up in the sign business originally to help him as he went through college, and it helped pay for college. It's amazing how much those little $25 add up. And he's got a real sophisticated website, sends you inventory updates and everything. I mean, I'm real impressed with what they do.
That's fantastic. Can I have the link to the sign guide information?
Yeah, if you look in app files, it's vendor, but it's Precision Post.
Okay.
Matt Smith, I think.
No, I can find that. That's perfect. Thank you so much.
SNS Precision Post.
I see that.
So, there you go.
And if you Google them, they're the first to come up as well. You can create a profile on there and you can just do everything through their dashboard. It's really cool. For just a little sign post, they've got a lot going on.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, everyone.
No problem.
10:55, we're on target. I hope everybody has a fantastic day.